Mama, are you there?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam, Mama. How are you? Thank you very much for joining us from Egypt. Now, I know you've been following what's been happening in London, but what are your initial thoughts?
Well, it seems that we have a Niqab issue every sort of 2 years. Something comes into the media, blows up, and then all the same discussions keep coming. That's the little one there in the background. But the same conversations keep coming back again and again and again, and it doesn't seem to be moving on.
Nama,
Doesn't seem to be moving.
right now, Nama is an author. She's magazine editor of a worldwide publication. She also wears the niqab. How does it make you feel when you hear comments like Boris Johnson's and journalists like Yasmin Brown in The Independent, when they're saying that women wearing the niqab shouldn't expect jobs and it shouldn't expect to pursue any sort of a career?
Oh, subhanAllah, I don't know where to start because like Naima said, rightly mentioned, it comes up every 2-3 years and it kind of like blows out of proportion. Surely there must be serious matters to discuss, like what's going on in Syria and Egypt and Iran and other countries. Is the niqab a real threat? Is it stopping us from moving forward? Well, the truth is it's not. Naima Roberts, she's the author herself. I've gone to colleges and universities and I see many young sisters and Muslim women in my area who, with a niqab, they're much more intelligent than those without. So I really don't think the niqab is a threat or is a hindrance for any women to move forward.
Now, you said you've been in public institutions, you've been to university. Did you feel any sort of pressure while studying because of your niqab?
No, of course not. Rather, I think a lot of my lecturers and my professors and even my colleagues, all from different backgrounds, they want to talk to me more. They kind of astounded, like, okay, you speak English, that's one thing they're kind of shocked at, and you're studying, were you forced? It's for more, they want to know more, and that's I encourage a debate like that, and I sit down and talk to them about why I cover, and we could work on projects, we could work on anything we want. It's never been a hindrance for me to move forward. And
Lindsay, can I bring you into this? What's going on?
Well, I think there's a very serious attack now, and you're right, this comes up every couple of years, but it strikes me this is more serious in Britain than it's ever been before, with Boris Johnson and all these people coming into it. And I think it's about trying to enforce and regulate what Muslims do. It's part of a much wider sense of Islamophobia which has been going on and which has been rising in recent years, I think largely to do with the war on terror and the way in which Muslims are demonised as a result of it. And I agree absolutely with the other guests that the idea that somehow women who cover their heads or their faces are less intelligent, are controlled by men, are only doing what their family tell them to do. In my experience, it's complete rubbish. It's that people actually do all sorts of things, but they choose to dress in a particular way. And surely that should be their choice. Why should anybody say to them, you can't dress in this kind of way because for religious beliefs or any other reason?
Naima, can I bring you back into this discussion? We've heard Boris Johnson, we've heard MPs, it's been taken to Parliament. How does that make you feel? You were born, you were raised in Britain, you lived in London for a long time before you moved to Egypt.
Yes, I did, and echoing what my sisters have said, what other people have said when critiquing this discussion, is that why so many people worry about how a minority of Muslim women dress? Just as your previous guest said, so many women who wear the niqab refuse to make a choice between practicing their religion in a certain way and partaking in society. And what this type of discussion does is it's almost forcing you and saying, look, you can't have it both ways. If you want to dress like that, either leave the country or stay at home. But we won't allow you to dress like that and get an education, have a career, have an active social life. We will not allow you to do that. And when I think most people, when they seriously sit down and think about what they are really saying, I hope that they will realise how ridiculous it is. Because the woman in niqab is the enemy today. She's the outcast. She's the outsider. She's vilified. She's, we know all about her. She's oppressed. She's this. The whole narrative again and again. But there were many, many people who were in the same position not many years ago. Different races, people with unconventional hairstyles, goths, people with tattoos. We've come to terms with them. Why can't we come to terms with women who choose to cover? Again, it's this whole thing of we're not hurting anybody, but people feel they know better. There's a lot going on. It's not just it's not just a few people. People really do feel that they know better. When I used to hear the French narrative about the niqab, the level of arrogance of people who have no idea what it's like to live with the niqab, don't know anyone who wears the niqab, but feel they've understood. No, they've really understood what this niqab really means and what kind of lifestyle.
We really could speak about this for so much longer, Naima, Lindsay, Dejana. We really could continue this discussion for a lot longer. But unfortunately, that is all we've got time for this evening. I want to thank all of my guests